Hi, I am Siddhartha Madasu and I am going to give a project presentation in image processing EEE6512. The name of the project is Coarse Adaptive Color Image Segmentation using K-means clustering. I am from University of Florida. The overview of the project is the purpose of this paper, introduction to image processing, clustering, classification of clustering, K-means algorithm, implementation of K-means algorithm, drawbacks, simulation results, and conclusion. Coming to the purpose of this paper. The primary aim of the paper is to study about color image segmentation and implement it by segmenting a color image into different regions using coarse representation. We use K-means clustering in this paper. K-means clustering is used to divide n number of observations into k clusters, in which every observation belongs to the cluster with the nearest mean. So basically, we plan to execute the color segmentation in 3 stages. First, we use the input image and it is coarsely represented in bins, that is, divide the entire range of values into a series of intervals. In the second stage, the coarse representation is performed, and in the final stage, the k-means clustering is executed and the desired result is acquired. Introduction to image processing. Image processing can be defined as a process of separating a particular image into a number of homogeneous regions. It has been a hot topic for research in the last 20 to 30 years. From the research done, we can observe that more importance have been given to the grayscale images by inventing more algorithms for grayscale images, while the color images, which reveal much more information about the objects in the pictures, were given very less importance in the research. One of the popular methods of image segmentation used nowadays is k-means clustering. It is a type of algorithm where we use the algorithm to differentiate or separate the interested region from the background. It is simple and faster than the usual clustering methods. Coming to clustering. What is clustering? Clustering or cluster analysis can be defined as the task of arranging or assembling into a cluster, and so the output cluster has more intra-cluster characteristics and low inter-cluster cluster characteristics. So in simple words, we can say clustering is a process where a set of objects are put into groups or clusters such that the objects are placed in a cluster have more similarities than the object placed in other group of clusters. Not only in image processing and segmentation, but it is also a common technique in other fields such as pattern recognition, bioinformatics, and even machine learning as well. There are different steps involved in clusterings. Usually, clustering involves the following stages: representation of characteristics, measuring similarity, collection of data points, abstraction of data, validation of output. Classification of clustering. We can classify clustering techniques or algorithms into various types, but broadly they're classified into two types. One is hierarchical clustering. The general definition of hierarchical clustering is an analysis which attempts to build a hierarchy of clusters. In other words, in this type of clustering, the pixels are highly related to pixels which are nearby than the pixels which are farther in distance. The other type of clustering is partitional clustering. In this partitional clustering, the data points of pixels are separated into number of partitions called as clusters. Instead of dividing the structure into a lot of substructures, like in hierarchical clustering, we send all the data into a single partition. For a large set of data, partitional clustering is more better suited than the hierarchical clustering because it becomes difficult for the large data to be interpreted into small and more complex structures in the hierarchical clustering. There are 4 types of partitional clustering. The 4 types are mode seeking clustering, square error clustering, mixture resolving clustering, and graph theoretical clustering. Coming to k-means algorithm. There are a number of clustering algorithms used for the implementation of above clustering methods. One of the methods used frequently is k-means clustering. K-means is the most commonly used algorithm when it comes to clustering. We use square error criteria in this algorithm. So in this algorithm, we usually define the number of partitions initially. We initialize the cluster centers randomly for cluster number, which is already predefined. Then we calculate the centroid by estimating the cluster centers again. We repeat the same process until we find convergence or until we see no remarkable change in the center of the clusters anymore. Implementation of k-means algorithm. First, the number of clusters k and the center is initialized. Then we calculate the Euclidean distance for each pixel in the range in the image between each pixel of the image and the center of the image by the following formula. Then we take the distance d and based on it we assign all the pixels to the nearest center. When we assign all the pixels, we then recalculate the new position of the center using the following formula. Then we repeat the same procedure till the tolerance or the error value gets satisfied. The process then reshapes the cluster pixels into an image. Not only advantages, but k-means also has some drawbacks. K-means is one of the most important and easiest ways to perform clustering, but even k-means has some drawback. The initial centroid plays a major role in the final clustering results. Depending on the random selection of the initial centroid, the resulting final clusters may vary. So for this, the initial center has to be taken care of very carefully so that we get a required result. Also, while designing a k-means cluster, we should also consider computational complexity, as it plays a really good role in the clustering process. It depends on a number of factors like the cluster number, iteration number, and data elements. Coming to the simulation and results. In this program, In the program, we use a lot of parameters, and they are responsible for the segmentation of the color image. We take a sample image and then we show the segmentation by changing the values of the parameters. We should consider the number of bins, that is, we should divide the entire range of values into equal intervals. First, we input the given image and then make sure that the input image is represented in bins. In this case, we can take the number of bins to be 25. We can take any number of bins we want, but considering the input image, the number of bins is chosen to be 25. The second stage, we perform the coarse representation based on the spatial information of histogram-based processing using the given parameters. In the final stage, we perform k-means clustering based on the values we acquire from the formulae proposed above and use them in the code. We consider the following values for the parameters in the code. The number of bins we use for representation is 25, the window size is 7, and the number of classes is 6. In both the cases, the algorithm we used adapts and it also performs well without having to make any changes in the decided parameters. If there were any shadows in the given pictures, there might have been a slight discrepancy, but we can ignore those minor defects. The second image has a problem as it is more complex and poses computational complexity problems. This is the first image and this is the second output we received. As we were telling you, the second image has slight discrepancy because it has a complex image. So these issues show that our algorithm is limited as a proper segmentation. It is always dependent on the quality of the image taken. In concluding, in this paper we discuss about the types of clustering and the methods which can make image segmentation a very easy job, which can be implemented by just a simple code. Color image segmentation is a fast-rising topic for the research in image processing in recent years. K-means is one of the most important methods of clustering as it is easy for computational reasons and gives good results as well. The algorithm on the whole, the algorithm is pretty simple to understand and as well as it's pretty easy to implement. Coming to the code, coming to the MATLAB simulation, this is the code we gave for the this thing for the exam for the project, and we have we these are the parameters we use. N bins is 5, the bin size is 7, and the n class is 6. As we run the code, we can see the output. We can see the outputs received here. This is the output, and this is the input image. So this is how we can show. Thank you.